I'm going to show you how to make a sword like this in Minecraft. So I post TikToks of me making these and I speed up the video a lot. I want to make a bit of a longer video here where I talk about my thought process and how it's done. So you start with the silhouette. Now this is a pretty fun part of the process. You don't gotta think too much about it, just make like a shape that kind of looks like a weapon. And you'll figure out the rest later. I like to work on a 256 by 256 pixel canvas because it's just pixely enough, and it also gives me enough freedom to work out some details. Once I got the silhouette, I'll start to block out colors within the silhouette. And then you're going to start shading it. I like to imagine that the light comes from the top left, but honestly nobody cares. And don't forget the hue shift. I like to kind of have a limited palette for each weapon, so each texture is not going to have more than like, I don't know, 6 or 8 or 9 colors. So the software I used to make these is GIMP, which is kind of an archaic software by now. I don't know who still uses GIMP, but when I was a little kid, I didn't have money, obviously, so I couldn't have Photoshop. But what they did have was GIMP, which is like a free version of Photoshop. And I've been using that ever since then. And not only do I use a obscure, strange software, but I also use a very specific version of that software, which is GIMP 2.8.22, because it has all the things the way that I'm used to. And I've tried updating to the new version too, and I hate it. I don't like it at all. But yeah, if you're wondering about what to make these textures on, I don't know, maybe use like Asprite. Like I think a lot of people use Asprite for pixel art. Not me though. Not me. Okay, back to the weapon that we're making. Now things get a bit technical. You gotta break up your texture into different parts based on how thick you want them to be. And that's because we're extruding this flat PNG into a 3D form, so separating it makes it really easy to manage in Blockbench. So when you're done, open Blockbench and create a new Java block/item. Then drag and drop your PNG into the workspace. Select extrude image. And then you're going to see all those separated parts. I'll usually click center lateral here so the weapon remains in the center. Something you have to do here is you have to go into your settings and change your snapping resolution. And this essentially makes it so that like, I don't know, so that like you can do stuff, because it's like a high res image. It's 128 by 128. And the snapping is usually not that big. So it's going to try to snap as though it's like a 16 by 16 model. And then you just start selecting those different parts and deciding what depth you want them to be. I think you press like space to scale them, and then you can hold like Alt or Control or I don't know, one of those buttons, and like scale them equally on both sides. And then you put them back together, and then you got a model. Not gonna lie, sometimes I forget where things go. So I'll need to like, I'll save like a version of the texture that's like broken up, and a version that's like not broken up, that's like how it's supposed to look. And I'll have to reference that version of the picture that's not broken up so I can just remember where stuff goes. When you're done, click center lateral again, so this weapon will be in the center. And then go into this menu here, and this is essentially deciding like how the weapon's gonna look in like first person, third person, etc. So just like, you know, do all that stuff, set things to what you want, and then you're good. And you're gonna save it out. Now this is where things can get like kind of tricky, especially if you haven't made texture packs before. I definitely recommend looking up like some tutorials on that if you're new to it. But essentially in the texture pack there's going to be textures and models for every single item in the game, and you're going to want to change those. You kind of need to make the texture pack like this. I'd highly recommend using my texture pack as a reference for the file structure. So there's an items folder, and it has all the Minecraft items in it, and these JSON files determine the conditions which will cause a certain item to take on the appearance of the model that we've made. Make sure all the naming is consistent and all the paths are correct. Now this is a big, really common error. It's really easy to trip up on, and I've done it a lot. And if this isn't right, your stuff is going to be pink and black blocks. It's like huge. Like it's always, this happens all the time, bro. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned how to make your own 3D weapons for Minecraft in this video. If you do make your own weapons, please post them on my Discord server. There's a channel for showcasing your creations. My Discord is not in my bio, but there is a link in my bio that leads to the website for this texture pack. And on that website, there is a Discord link. So join and show off your stuff. Okay, see you guys.